How are you doing?
Fine, how are you?
Good. Now I'm making a soup right now. You're just in time for soup. But I do have some silly questions to ask you here at the Vitamix booth. Do you know why they call that yellow squash? You don't know why? You're brilliant, yes, because it is yellow. Now, do you know why they call that one the zucchini?
Because it's green, I guess.
You know what? Nobody actually knows. It's just a trick question. One day, though, someone is going to answer that, and I won't be able to ask silly questions anymore. All right. Next up, we're going to throw in a little bit of cabbage. Now, remember in the juice, we threw that cabbage in, and now we're going to throw it in our soup. Cabbage is a superfood, and superfoods are those foods that actually prevent things like cancer cells from growing in our body. So you want to be sure and eat your superfoods every single day. And with the Vitamix, you can throw the vegetables into everything, hiding them from yourself. Now that's kind of cool. Have some more juice. Now next up, I'm going to throw in a little bit of bell pepper. You like bell pepper? Did you know pound for pound bell pepper actually has more vitamin C than an orange? Yeah, so what do you think weighs more, a pound of peppers or a pound of oranges?
Another trick question.
You are absolutely right. There's no pulling the wool over your eyes. A pound is a pound, whether it's feathers, bricks, peppers, or oranges. You're absolutely right. All right, next up I'm throwing in a little bit of that bell pepper, but I'm leaving in the seeds and the stem. Now that's the most nutrient-dense parts of our fruits and vegetables, and that's the parts that we throw away. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that in, saving my family money yet again. Now also notice the very small portions I'm using, and I'm making enough right now for a family of 4. That's pretty cool. Think of how far your produce is going to go. Now the very last thing I need to add to my soup is this tomato. Now that's a great source of lycopene, and watch as I meticulously chop that tomato. There we go. See how much time this is going to save you in the kitchen? It's going to save you a ton of prep time. Now the last thing I need to add to my soup before we get it going is the water. I'm adding a little bit of preheated water, but that's not to pull the wool over your eyes. My machine is going to make it hot all on its own. We're doing that to just save on demonstration time. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. And if you're ever chopping for like an omelet, stuff like that, look at that. There's your eggs, your ham, your cheese, your peppers, your onions, whatever you want to have in your omelet, and it's all ready to go in the frying pan. Now, you do still have to throw it in the frying pan. My machine does a lot of fun things, but it doesn't fry eggs. I'm sorry. I know, you were ready to take 2 of them home, huh? All right. All right, now I do need you to feel that bottom right there. And you can see that that's nice and warm, but it's not hot, right? I'm going to put that back on my machine. We're going to turn it up, and we're going to make it hot based solely on the friction of the blade, okay? So I'm going to turn that on. We go past those food processing speeds. We flip that up on high, and there you have your broth. Now you're probably wondering how I just made a nice cold juice, and now I'm making a very hot soup in the same container without any heating element at all. Well, let me take just a moment and explain that to you. If you were to rub your hands together like this, super duper fast, it's going to create a lot of heat friction, correct? Yeah. And if you did that at 240 miles an hour, which is how fast my machine is going, it's going to create a tremendous amount of heat friction. And then what we've done here in Costco is we've turned that on, and we've done it inside an enclosed container. So that's retaining all of that heat. So look at this, after just 30 seconds of runtime, we've already got steam coming out of the top. That's kind of cool, isn't it? Yeah, that's from the friction of that blade. Now folks, the steam is coming out after 30 seconds because I used preheated water. Had I used ice cold water from your tap at home, that would have taken 4 minutes to get that much steam to come out of the top. But I didn't think you wanted to hear me talk for 4 full minutes. So yeah, we sped that up to make it a little easier on you. Now next up, I'm going to add a nice piece of cheese. Do you like cheese? Great. So I'm going to add some cheese. But as you know, whenever you add cheese to a blender or to a soup, you've got to grate it up. But that takes time, and that's another appliance to clean. We don't want to do that. We just take that cheese, drop it in, and look at that. In just 1 split second, all that cheese completely grated and evenly distributed. I haven't even dirtied a wooden spoon yet. Now that makes it easy in the kitchen. Next up is my onion. Now, you know, I really like onions, but one thing I don't like to do, I don't like to peel the onions. Yeah, do you like to peel the onions? What happens when you peel the onions? You cry, exactly. Well, you know what? when you have your new Vitamix at home, we're going to throw that in there, and there'll be no more crying in your kitchen. Because that onion skin right there, as long as it's clean, you just throw it in your machine, and it's just a little bit of fiber, and it won't do any harm at all. It's actually really good for you. Next up is a little bit of jalapeno. Now, jalapeno can actually have a pretty powerful punch to it. So what we do here is we take out the seeds and the core. That's where all your heat is, and that way you get all the flavor and none of the heat. And we don't need to use one of those to chop it up. No, that takes too much time in the kitchen, right? We want to just take that, throw it in the machine, and let the machine do all the work. That's kind of cool, isn't it? Next up, a little bit of cilantro. Anybody here like cilantro? Oh, you do? Good. Did you know it actually removes toxic metals from your body? Yeah, so in the event you accidentally swallow your thermometer, yeah, run to the refrigerator. That just might do the trick, okay? And last, we need to add a little bit of garlic. Now, you know, I love garlic, but I don't like to peel those tiny little pieces. They're very time consuming. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, just like our onion, we're going to throw that in and let the machine do all the work that it was designed to do. How much time are we saving in our kitchen? And the last thing I need to add is some bouillon. Now, you know, my machine is so powerful, it'll actually liquefy that aluminum. I didn't peel my onion and I didn't peel my garlic. There's no need to peel the... You're not buying that, are you? Yeah, there's no pulling the wool over your eyes. I do too need to peel that. Let me tell you why. That skin right there of that is made of something called aluminum. Now, aluminum has actually been linked to things like Alzheimer's disease. Yeah, so unless you want to forget who you are, don't eat that stuff. It's not good for you. We're going to throw that away. But I do have that nice hard bouillon cube left. And don't I need to get a glass of water and dissolve that? No, I know what you're thinking, young man. You're thinking, no, Mary. You need to throw that in the blender and let the machine do all the work it was designed to do so I can taste the soup. See, I've been using a Vitamix so long myself that I can read his mind. That's kind of cool. Just another benefit of the Vitamix. Alright, the last thing I need to add is my special seasoning. Now, this is not available on the shelves of Costco. You have to get it while we're here at the Vitamix booth. And this is low sodium and no MSG. Now, MSG has been linked to things like migraine headaches. They don't want any of those. And sodium isn't good for you either. Did you know a regular can of soup out of your cupboard at home has over 1,000 milligrams of sodium per serving? Yeah, this right here, just 95 milligrams of sodium per serving. And the recipe for the soup is right there on the back. But don't worry, your recipe also comes in our cookbook that comes with your unit today. Now, you do want to pick some of this up because it's great in soup, but it's also great on eggs, salads, sandwiches. You can even throw it or use it as a meat marinade. So pick some of that up before you leave. All right, my soup is just about done, and we're ready to taste the best soup you've ever had. But first, I want to remind you what you're going to get with your unit today. You're going to get the #1 selling unit based on the leading consumer magazines, and that's been #1 for over 10 years. You're going to get that beautiful cookbook right there with over 300 recipes. Now, that's got recipes for things like salsa guacamole, hot peanut butter, hot soup, cold soup, fondues, gravies, nacho cheese dip, margaritas, ice cream. Yep, it's all in that book. That is a $50 value, and that's one of the gifts we're going to give you today. We're also going to give you that Getting Started Guide, the DVD. All those things come in your package, plus that 7-year warranty. And once again, that warranty is top to bottom, front to back, all the parts and pieces. So there you have it. We're all done and ready to add our chunks. But first, did you feel this when I first started? You did, didn't you? Do you want to come up and feel that? You tell me, did it increase in temperature? There you go. Isn't that hot? All right. Now that doubles in temperature every 2 minutes of runtime.
The web.
That doubles in temperature every 2 minutes of runtime, coming to a complete boil in just 7 minutes. That's pretty cool. So you can make every recipe in that cookbook in less than 7 minutes. Think about that in your very own kitchen. All right, now I've been telling you how this is the fastest machine on the planet, right? At 240 miles an hour. Well, right now, it's running as the slowest machine on the planet at just 11 miles an hour. And that allows us to add chunks to our soup. That's kind of neat. So I did prepare up some chunks for you. I've got some beans, because beans are super duper good for you. And I've even got a little bit of corn. It just seems to go with the jokes that I tell. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and add that in as well. Now this is a great way to use up those leftovers you have at home too. And you know the leftovers I'm talking about, don't you? They're the ones that get pushed to the back of your refrigerator and 3 weeks later you kind of wonder what they were. Yeah, you don't have to do that anymore. Just make any kind of a vegetable broth, any kind at all. And the very next day throw in those leftover lima beans, green beans, whatever you have at home. And you've got a delicious leftover soup. Saving your family money yet again. All right, now the last thing I need to add is a little bit of tortillas. Everybody like tortillas? Yeah. Now the last thing I'm going to add is the tortillas. I'm just going to crunch those right in the top there. And look at that. In less than 5 minutes, start to finish, I've made a delicious meal for a family of 4. And you can do this in your very own home with your Vitamix. Now folks, in less than 5 minutes I did make a meal for a family of 4, and had we gone to the fast food restaurant, we'd still be waiting in line. This right here is fast food. Less than 5 minutes from start to finish. Once again, we didn't use one of those hardly at all. And think about the cost too. Remember that fast food restaurant for a family of 4 is going to run around $30. This right here costs less than $1. And again, I made enough to feed my entire family using all natural ingredients, nothing artificial. We didn't microwave or boil anything. There you go. So give that a try, and if that's the best soup you've ever had, certainly let me know.
What did you have there in there first?
I put the water and the carrots in there first. Yeah, carrots. I blended those up as part of our broth. Yeah. So the hardest decision you have today is if you want to take home the black machine or the white machine. Either one.
You want one?
What do you think? You want the black one or the white one today? And once again,
The last drink, this drink that you